So that we are going to finish your phonics. Yeah. So today we will focus on the module 3. The first part is inverters. The syllabus as shown in the slide. So basically, what we mean by inverters here. So as we know the rectifiers, so far we discussed and studied different extended versions of rectifiers, which are studied as phase controlled converters. You can see here. So different types of phase controlled converters and choppers also we have studied, which are different types of converters itself, as we have classified them clearly in the beginning of the module. Similarly, inverter is nothing but a device. Inverter, sorry, inverter is a device which converts DC to AC. Rectifier, what will do? It will simply convert AC to pulsating AC. Exactly reverse that. Exactly reverse of that to do in the inverter. Actually, this conversion of DC to AC is required. In most of the electronic gadgets, you can see in nowadays we are getting different requirements at a very low voltage and current. That to DC requirement is. Yes, yes.
Sir, your voice is not clear, sir.
One. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, first let let's try to define and try to understand what we mean by this inverter. Basically, inverter is a device which converts DC to AC. Okay, normally, for example, if you take television, domestic purpose, where it will be connected to AC supply, that will be converted to DC. And if you open that television box, where we can see different blocks of circuits having the requirement of different DC voltage and current. So how to satisfy these different DC voltage and current requirements of different sections of any electronic device. For that purpose, inverter is actually required. For example, in home itself, for domestic purpose, some device may require different DC voltage and some another device may require another different DC voltage or current. So if we have 3 or 5 devices in the home having different DC voltage and DC current requirements, in that case, inverter is actually required. So starting from any electronic system or electronic gadget to the whole domestic purpose or any system, social society, in order to satisfy different requirements of DC voltage or current ratings, we need inverter. What he is telling here, that's what we discussed here. Most of the commercial, industrial, and residential loads require AC sources, of course. One of the problem with AC is that they cannot be stored in batteries. So whenever the supply we are going to lose, in that case we cannot store the AC and we cannot reuse it. So this problem can be solved by direct current sources. So where alternating current is converted into DC for storage purpose. So that we can use for, we are still using that one for domestic appliances and also in industries in the form of batteries. So that's what the main difference between the AC and DC currents and voltages. Okay. So where exactly our inverter is going to play an important role. So with this slide, hope we are trying to understand clearly how to define inverter, why this inverter working is required, and where it is required. Okay. So if you get a small question on this, define inverter and explain for 3 to 4 months. So this much is sufficient. So what do you mean by inverter? How it is going to be different from the rectifier, if you want, you can tell, or why it is exactly required. Because normally we are using AC supply, maybe industrial or residential or commercial purpose, but this DC to AC is required. Instead of we will be having DC. So later we'll see what are the types of inverters. We'll be having a variety of inverters based on different factors. So you can see some different pictures of inverters of different types I have shown there. So the first category, which are coming under what kind of input you are going to apply, maybe in the form of voltage or current. So what could be your source? It may be a DC or AC source. In that, the first one you can see VSI, voltage source inverter. So here it has been shown with this small block. Input is going to be voltage source, means DC voltage. Voltage source means it is a DC voltage source, because inverter is going to convert your DC to DC. So input should be DC, and we'll be having different specified rating for AC. That is a voltage source inverter. Input is DC voltage source. This inverter is also known as voltage source inverter, when the input of inverter is constant DC voltage source. That amplitude of DC voltage source will be fixed. Frequency will be 0, we know it already. So the input to the voltage source inverter has stiff DC. Means what? That the impedance of DC voltage source is 0. But practically DC sources have some negligible impedance. So what he is telling here is that normally if you take any voltage source, maybe DC or AC, it will be having some inherent resistance. That is known as the internal impedance. So what we mean by DC means ideally we want to have 0 impedance, but practically we can say it will be having very small impedance will be there, internal impedance. Okay, that is known as stiff DC. Stiff DC means here our voltage source is DC and it is offering very negligible internal impedance. So VSR are assumed to be supplied with ideal voltage sources, means very low impedance, and AC output voltage is completely decided by the states of switching devices in the inverter and applied DC source. Means what the rating we are getting for our AC output maybe voltage or current ratings, what you are getting as AC will be depending on two factors here. One depends on the kind of voltage source you are using. Another one, the set of switching elements used in this VSI block. So these two factors are going to decide what kind of AC ratings or T ratings you are going to get. So this how guys you need to first explain based on what kind of input you are going to apply. First one we have seen voltage source inverter. In that only, the second one what we are getting the current source inverter. So in place of voltage source now will be having current source. In place of voltage source, now we'll be having current source. You can see the symbol here. So this one thing you should be careful. See that most of you even making mistakes in writing the proper for diodes, transistors, thyristors, ACRs. So here you can see we are using current with stiff current rating, means again negligible, high impedance want, because for the voltage source we need full impedance, but for the current source we have for the current source we need hello. Okay, I will repeat once again. For the voltage source, will be having very small inherent impedance, and for the current source, will be having a very high inherent impedance. The current is stable, which is not affected by the AC output current is completely decided again. Once again, used in the inverter block, and so we are going to classify, going to see.
Sir,
Yes, sir, ma'am.
your voice is breaking, sir.
Of inverters, ma'am. Am I audible there? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me repeat the things. See? Hello? Check the microphone. Okay, based on the input DC, AC, hello? Okay, it is coming with some delay there. So let me check. So just once again try to explain here. You just tell me at the end. So the first type of inverters classification is totally based on what kind of voltage or current as input we are giving, which may be a DC or AC. As you can see in this block, we are applying the DC voltage as input. With the stiff DC means it will be having a very low inherent impedance. So, and output AC ratings will be depending on how much stiffness will be there and the state of different switching elements which are changing in this VSI block. Okay. So the second one is the current source inverter, where we'll be having current source, DC current source as input. With the step current means it will be having a very high internal impedance, and once again the AC output ratings depending on how much stiffness we are going to maintain at the input DC source and the rate of changing of the different states of different switching elements in this inverter or CSI. So this is all based on DC. Hello? So hello, hello, am I there?
Yes,
Uncle?
sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is one type of inverter classification we have seen based on DC or AC voltage or current source. Second one, the second type of inverters, the second type of inverters is based on output phase what we are getting at the output of inverters. So according to the output voltage and current phases, inverters are divided into two main categories, single phase and three phase inverters. So we'll be having them in detail, we can see it later. The single phase inverter converts DC input to single phase output. The output voltage or current of single phase inverter has exactly one phase, which has a nominal frequency of 50 to 60 Hz. So this nominal voltage is defined as voltage level at which the system operates. Means output will be having only one phase. One phase. Single Hello? Am I audible? Hello? Okay, the second type of inverters is based on the phase of the output. What phase will be there at the output of the inverter? Based on that, we got single phase inverters and three phase inverters. Single phase inverters will be having only one phase in the output, that is the AC. Whereas in three phase inverters, will be having three phases in the output of inverter. Is it now clear? I hope now it is clear now. I hope it is clear. Can anybody tell me? You are chatting that we can't hear you. Now, can you tell me that is it clearly? Because I'm clearly hearing my voice here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, clear? Shall I
Yes, sir.
continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
let me continue. Okay. Okay, the second type of inverter, how we are classifying is that based on what kind of phase we are getting at the output AC of our inverter. If we have a single phase with the AC output of an inverter, it is known as single phase inverter. Normally, it is used with the low loads, low value of the loads. There are more losses in single phase as the efficiency of single phase is low with respect to three phase. Therefore, three phase inverters are normally preferred for high loads. So wherever low loads are there, single phase is required. But high loads normally we can go for the three phase. So this is the difference you can see guys here. The difference between how the single phase AC output looks, we can see it has been shown with the blue line. Phase AC output, you can see three lines are coming here with different phases, and their phase relationship is constant between each of these lines. Okay, that's why it is known as a three-phase AC output. So whether you are getting single phase AC output, three-phase AC output, we will be having two types based on the output phase-wise classification. Again, next one, the third type of inverters, how we are going to classify, is based on how the switching elements used in the inverters will be, which may be line commutated. Naturally, they are going to be turned off, or it may be forced commutated. So in line commutated type of inverters, AC circuits, the line voltage is easily accessible for the device, and the device is naturally turned off when the current here crosses zero. This already we have learned. So that's why they are known as line commutated inverters. Whereas in force commutated inverters, the supply does not cross the zero point. That's why some outside is required to turn off the ACR. So that's why it is known as a forced, we are forcibly turning it off. And such inverters based on such forcibly turning off of the switching elements is known as forced commutated inverters. So this is the main difference, guys, between the line commutation and forced commutated inverters. Line commutated inverters require which are cheaper, but forced commutated inverters, as they require external circuitry or arrangement, turn off used in the inverter, hence it requires some cost at least. Here in line commutated inverters, no extra power loss is happening due to commutation because naturally commutated. But some power loss is happening in case of forced commutation because we are doing the commutation process forcibly. So while doing so, we are going to lose some power. In line commutated inverters, no external components are required for its computation because it is happening. But here it is required because we need external arrangement or extra components are required to do the commutation forcibly. Line commutated inverters, negative voltage will turn off the thermistor, but here both current and voltage will turn off. So that one thing you have to remember, sometimes it may be asked, the difference between line commutated inverters and force commutated inverters. So the next one, fourth type of inverters, connection of thyristors and commutating elements, so they are connected. Based on that, we will be having again two types, series inverter and parallel inverters. A series inverter circuit consists of a pair of thyristors and RC circuit. Is connected. Hello? Hello? Okay. The fourth type of inverters, hello? Hello? Is there any disturbance again? The fourth type of, okay. Type of inverter classification. Hello? The fourth type of inverter classification is based on how thyristors and different commutating elements in the inverter circuitry. In a series inverter, a pair of thyristors and RLC components are connected, as you can see here. A single thyristor, two thyristors connected actually in series, but in between we got three RLC components, which is a good example for the series inverter. So this inverter is known as a series inverter because load is directly connected in series with the source with the help of T1. You can see here it is known as a series inverter because the load you can see here is a load RLC is connected directly in series with the DC source. One again I will. Hello? Hello? Okay. So it is called series inverter where the load RLC is connected in series with the source along with the T1. The series inverter is also known as self-commutated inverter. The thyristors here are self-commutated because it will be depending on the line. So another name for this inverter is also known as load commutated load. Hello? Am I audible there? Guys, can anyone tell me that am I audible?
You are audible, sir, but your voice is not clear. will be better if we take tomorrow.
Am I audible there comfortably or not? Can see. Am I audible there? Can anyone respond? Hello? Are you listening my voice? Am I audible there?
Yes, sir.
Shall I continue? So the fourth type of inverter classification is now based on how the connections are made between the thyristors and different commutating elements. So whether this thing you are listening there, anyone can tell me, then I can proceed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that you can see in the slide here, it is called series inverter because how the two thyristors T1 and T2 are connected and how the passive and active elements are connected. So here the passive and active elements RLC are connected in series with the source along with the T1. So that's why it is known as a series inverter. So because the load is connected in a series with the supply, it is also known as commutative inverter. To decide, this load is going to decide turning off of your T1. So,
Sir, your voice is not clear, sir.
hello. Okay, now we can continue. So here you can see in mode 1 only T1 is coming into picture and these active elements are going to store the energy. In mode 2 only T2 is operating and it is giving you the whatever the energy stored in LNC to be discharged. So this may be not the just for your knowledge purpose. I will be giving you the working of series inverter. Next, parallel inverter, where you can see this is the parallel inverter circuitry. Load here, the L is there, which will L and C, which will be connected in parallel with the input. It is connected in parallel with the input. And here two thyristors, T1 and T2, are connected in a center tapped full wave bridge circuit. In the primary side, he has shown here. The load is coming in here. inverter, and if you capacity see a load. For that reason, it is known as a parallel inverter. Parallel inverters are also known as center tap transformer inverters. This is important, a key point for this slide, because it has center tap transformer. So this is how we have some inverters, series parallel inverters, how the charging elements are connected with respect to the load. Again, we got the fifth type, the modes of operation wise classification. So, which kind of modes our inverters are going to operate. Based on that, we got again the three types, subtypes there. Standalone inverters, like this one. This figure is going to be self-explanatory. So this one is a good example for the kind of inverter we'll be using in most of the domestic purpose. Standalone inverters are directly connected to the loads without being interrupted by the other sources, which are also known as off-grid mode inverters. Off means normally the kind of supply, guys, what we are getting is directly from the main supply. That is known as a main supply, is also known as a grid supply. Okay. In absence of main supply or grid supply, our inverter will be turned on like this one. Okay. So when the main supply is there, the charge will be there, it is charging the battery. When the grid supply is there, it is charging the battery. When grid supply is not there, that is off-grid mode. That's what is known as off-grid mode. And the grid supply is not there. So inverter is coming to picture and it starts supplying different loads as shown in the figure here. That's why it is known as off-grid mode inverters. Whereas the grid mode inverters, it is directly connected to the grid. You can see here, directly connected to the grids here. In this case, whether you are connected to the grid or not, that is not going to matter here. So in grid connected or inverter has function inverter to supply AC power to you. From grid connected inverter supply this to charge to provide an idea is which converts to AC, but so this inverter has square wave. You can, so based on the shape of AC output, we got different classification of inverters. If you are getting square wave output for our inverters, such are known as square wave inverters, which are cheaper too. This one is the example for this square wave inverter, that is known as SPDT. SPDT means single push double throw. The simplest construction of this type of square wave inverter is using H-bridge inverters. The simple version can be achieved by using single push double throw circuit. You can see here. So you are pushing button is here. So three terminals here. Two terminals are connected to the primary, and the third terminal is connected via the DC source to the center table. When you push this button, which is going to be connected on either side of this one, either upper.
Mm. So we are unable to hear. Your voice, sir.
Is it audible? Am I audible now? Okay, based on the number of output levels, inverters are classified into two categories. The number of output levels of any inverter can be at least 2 or more. Okay, so two level inverter, the output voltage is changing between positive and negative. So these voltages constantly swinging with the fundamental frequency of 50 to 60 Hertz. And hence they are known as a two level inverters because they are swinging back and forth between the two levels here, and have three levels in their output waveform. So the reason of categorizing three level inverters in this category is because these are having two levels with extra zero voltage level. Practically, zero is the third level, but it is still categorized into two level only. Okay. So multi-level inverter, where we will be getting more than three levels. 2 to 3 level means zero will also be considered as one of the levels. So we'll try to compare here the difference between two level and multi-level inverters. Output voltage level in the two level inverters is very low, and whereas in multi-level inverters it is adjustable. Harmonics are much higher in case of two level, but lower in case of multi-level. Harmonics are very much reduced in case of multi-level inverters. Efficiency, that's why it is very high in case of multi-level inverters compared to two level. So this how, guys, we are able to classify different types of inverters as we have seen. So like that, you have to elaborate different types or classification of inverters if it has been asked in the exam. So in the next class, we are going to see single phase and single phase inverters with the different R and RL loads that you can see in the next class. So I have in between you got the troubles here because of the voice breaking. That those technical issues will be clarified. So I have recorded this one.